We're all absolutely horrified at the possibility of the downgrading of the hospital. I'm not going to repeat everything that's been said. Just as I said before, I'm very sincerely conscious of the hospital and its absolute benefits and its necessity to the local area. Most of us have had our children there, we've had family members who have been treated in a great way over there. There's an emotional attachment to many people in the hall here to Portlaoise Hospital. It's as simple as that for most of us.
I'm the proud father of 4 wonderful children, but I'd be the sad father of 3 children if it wasn't for Portlaoise Hospital. My daughter was rushed to hospital in 1988 and she was saved. She went into a coma and she was saved by Portlaoise Hospital. And I swore that night that I'd fight my back for that hospital. That's what we need to do.
My brother was visiting. He took a heart attack and they survived. Right? So that's just one family member. I have been seen in A&E 6 times in 7 weeks. What will I do? You know, everybody here has had somebody through A&E. Every single person in this room. So, you know, just go on march.
And what we have to do is to react in numbers, as Stanley said earlier on. So when people go back to their local villages and towns tomorrow, is to form as groups and all be at the main meeting next Sunday's organised. Thanks.
If you have chest pains and you're in the middle of a cardiac arrest, a stroke, or if you have an infant with a high temperature and possibly a very serious meningitis, they're going to send you to Tullamore. It's a bog road. It's up, it's down. Quickly is no better. Once you go by Doro, you're on another bumpy, twisty, bendy road.
Just some of the concerns locals have over the future of their hospital. Over 500 gathered last night to join in the fight to save the A&E service. MC was Secretary of Portlaoise GAA Club, Peter O'Neill. He outlined what the group's demands are.
We ask that our elected representatives collectively demand to meet as a matter of the greatest urgency the Minister for Health, Dr. James O'Reilly, and demand from him the reversal of this devastating downgrade. I am aware that Deputy Charles Flanagan has agreed to this meeting, and as have our other elected members, and he is actively trying to fix a date. Deputy Flanagan cannot be with us tonight through no fault of his own, and I thank him for his commitment to the cause. We ask this meeting would elect a Save Our Hospital committee to represent the hospital and community in the immediate days and weeks ahead in discussions with regional HSE and corporate HSE. We ask that this newly formed committee would organise a protest march on Sunday next, July the 3rd, and allow the people of Laois, you, and surrounding counties to voice their anger and disgust at the manner in which the HSE is treating the people of this area.
Labour Senator John Whelan says it's a red line issue.
One is the junior doctor situation, which is a national problem. Again, it's caused by the HSE themselves, because each hospital, like Portlaoise, used to have the autonomy and the authority to recruit their own staff. This was centralised by the HSE, and now they've made such a bags of it, they can't get enough junior doctors into the country. There's 400 junior doctors short right across the country, and that's what you see going on in Letterkenny, Sligo, Roscommon, and that's also feeding in and compounding the Portlaoise problem. You've also got HSE policy, which seems to be by stealth or by hook or by crook to undermine and downgrade Portlaoise. And the third thing is the critical funding and financial situation that the country finds itself in. Portlaoise has been underfunded, it has been understaffed and undermined for some time. And the difficulty is what the HSE then come along and say to you, the hospital's unsafe. It's very easy to say a hospital's unsafe and the patient's safety is at risk when you have deliberately underfunded and understaffed it for years. I want to say finally, I do know this for certain. This decision has not yet been made definitively. It's in the melting pot and is under consideration, but we can defeat it and we can overturn it and we can prevail with a united effort. Thank you.
Deputy Sean Fleming, who says Minister for Health Dr James Riley has promised a meeting with local representatives, says the buck now stops with Dr Riley.
I do have to say I'm fighting for the hospital here locally, but the Minister has stood down the board of the HSE to personally take these decisions onto his own desk. So we will be meeting the Minister of this government who has decided that he is the man who will make this decision. There was a time maybe you could hide behind HSE management. That day is over, that board has been stood down. The Minister is making the decision.
Concerns over journey times, the future of the hospital as a whole and the impact on the community were raised. Peter O'Neill says he fears for injuries that occur during the hundreds of matches that go on each night in the county.
During the summer there could be 45 different games taking place. For my sins I also referee, and I have been involved in about 4 or 5 matches over the last 3 or 4 years where the ambulances have to come out. And this is a common occurrence. You know, some serious, some not so serious. But I wouldn't fancy being in Earl or being in Rosenallis or being somewhere and not having Portlaoise at my back. You know, it's just another, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kids playing sport every night. And this is what will affect them.
Noel Toohey raised an additional concern about the 2 prisons in Portlaoise.
Secondly, I formally call on the Minister for Justice, Equality and Law Reform, Alan Shatter, to support us here. Because he has, as John Whelan already outlined, 1,500 people who he has a duty of care to in Portlaoise and the Midland prisons. There's assaults on a regular basis. We all know the self-mutilation. Any of the nurses know what goes on and how often we're going from the hospital, from the prison to the hospital. You take Clover Hill, Wheatfield, 3 hospitals within 5 minutes. You take the Mount Eye complex, the same story. So I would call on Minister Alison Shatter to support us.
An 18-member committee has now been formed, the Portlaoise Hospital Action Group. Through Facebook, parish news and a huge community effort, they're hoping for thousands to turn out this Sunday at 3 o'clock at county buildings. Chairperson Councillor Kathleen O'Brien says they need all the support they can get.
We need stewards to be out there, anybody who can help in any way, just in any way, would they contact any member of the committee. It's very important that we all stick together to retain all the services within our hospital and not downgrade it in any way. Because if we lose any service within the hospital, you know, we could lose a life. I mean, it's very important that we don't have to travel anywhere to another hospital when we have an excellent hospital